Today we're going to be fixing the reason why my car is not idling properly. Well, at least I hope so. What's the word, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be fixing the idle problem on my BMW E39. Now the way we're going to be doing that is by replacing the ICV in this car, which is known and bound to go out. Now the way I figured out the ICV was actually going bad is I have no vacuum leaks. I've read the codes, I've cleared the adaptations, and it's all pointing to a faulty ICV. So what I did is I ordered a brand new ICV from ECS, and today we're going to be installing that in the car, and hopefully this will fix the idle problem. So the first thing that I'm going to do in this process is I'm going to read the codes again just to verify that I'm getting the same code. And then after that, we're going to hop straight into the installation process. All right, so I'm just going to plug this into my laptop really quick. And like I said, I'm just going to go in and read the codes. All right, so I'm going in to read the error memory, and boom. Yep, it is the same exact code that we've been getting. So that's awesome. That's good that I was able to verify that. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into placing the ICV on this car. Now, before I do get into this, I am going to go change clothes because obviously you can tell this is not what I was meaning to wear to do this. And obviously I don't want to get my white shirt dirty. So now here's the part right here. Got this from ECS. Like I said, it's just a brand new ICV. And then I also got the brand new grommet as well because I'm going to replace this too. So yeah, if you guys want to replace the ICV, I highly recommend replacing the grommet as well at the same time because you're right there. You might as well do it. So the first step to actually doing this is actually removing this DISA valve. So basically what you have to do is disconnect this connector, and then there's going to be some Torx bolts right here. There's one right here, and then there's one down in there. I know obviously you guys can't see that. It'll be kind of down in this area. So we got to take the DISA valve off, and then as soon as we take this off, it'll be basically right under there. So if you can remove the intake boot, it's probably a good idea. I just personally don't, just because I think it's easier just to keep it in. I don't like removing a whole bunch of stuff if I don't have to. So, but if you definitely want to free up some space, this will definitely help to remove this. All right, and just like that, you should be able to pull the DISA valve right on out, just like how I'm doing it right now. Just like that, DISA valve is out. Now, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna disconnect the ICV. You guys can see clearly in there, that is where we have to disconnect the ICV from. And then we're gonna remove this bolt right here, and then we're also gonna remove these Torx as well. So once we do that, the last thing we'll have to do is just loosen up this hose right there with that hose clamp on it. And then we should be able to just pull the ICV right out of the car. So I'm going to do all of that really quick and get this out, and then we can start putting the new one back. All right, going to disconnect the ICV here. One of those connectors where you push it in and then pull the cable. So now with these hose clamps, I recommend that you remove it completely. Well, not completely, I should say. That you should just loosen it as much as possible and pull it back as much as you can, because if you just keep it on, it's just going to bring more room for pain and just heartache. So I like to loosen these all the way up. I think tons of other people do it this way as well. It's just easier to get it out of the way. And it's easier also to get hoses off. So yeah, I've removed the ICV on this car so many times at this point that it's just like memory of the back of my hand to get this thing out of here. Now next we're going to get these Torx taken out. Just gonna loosen these up. Luckily, these aren't super tight, so you don't have to sit here and kind of like, you don't have to sit here and nag at them because they shouldn't be super tight. So, and I'll say it again, if you don't like working around stuff, I highly recommend removing the intake boot, just because you'll get way more space to do this and you'll get way more clearance. I know there are some people that just like getting everything out of the way, which I do too to a certain extent, but if I don't have to remove something, I'm definitely not going to remove it. So please be careful not to drop these bolts, man. I promise you, you do not want these bolts falling down into the, I like to call it the BMW Bermuda Triangle. Once we got this out of here and we got everything loosened up, we should now be able to just pull the ICV. You kind of want to have to work with it because the grommet on the other side is still secured. So you kind of got to work at it a little bit to get it out of there. But once you do, it should come out just fine. I like to pull at it from this angle just because it gives you a little bit more leverage to kind of yank at it. But yeah, just pull from this angle and it should come right out. All right, you guys, so I was able to get both parts out of there. I actually had to use some needle nose pliers like those to pull out the grommet, but I'm just gonna do the reverse opposite for the new stuff. I'm gonna put all that back in there, and then I'm gonna pick back up the camera to see if this actually fixed it. Y'all, it has been probably well over 2 hours later. It did not go how it was supposed to. Y'all, we finally got it inside of the car. It's super dark outside, so I don't even know if y'all can actually see, but I finally got the part in the car. You can see how dirty. I've kind of wiped my hands a lot, but they were a lot blacker than this, but you can hear the bugs outside. Now that was supposed to be a lot easier, but it ended up actually being a lot harder because the new rubber grommet that I got, this was super hard to get the ICV inside of. So it took us a very long time. I ended up having to get my dad out here to help me out because I could not get it in there myself. So yeah, we got everything buttoned up. I don't know if I'm gonna actually clear the codes tonight. I really don't want to start up the car because I don't want it to see that it has a new ICV plugged in. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna go tomorrow morning, start the car, clear the codes out, and just finish up with the process because I really don't want to get into anything right now at nighttime because I really don't have much daylight. So I want to be able to test the car and drive the car whenever it's light outside, when I have time and I'm not getting ready to go to sleep and stuff. I'm gonna come back to this tomorrow probably, and hopefully we can get this car back up and driving. Hopefully we can fix this idle issue because I am very tired of this idle problem. All right, you guys, it is the next day and we are actually getting ready to see if we actually fixed the issue on my car. Now yesterday, as you guys saw, we did replace the ICV in the car, so this is going to be my first time actually starting it and even putting the key in the ignition. So hopefully everything is working properly. Hopefully the car is going to be running a lot better now. Now I was told that the car might idle slightly weird to just begin with, but I think that it will kind of even out and level out once the car understands that there's a new ICV in the car. So yeah, I'm expecting that the car should idle slightly weird for a second, or either, you know, kind of idle higher or lower. But I think once the car stays running, I'm supposed to like let it run for I think 5 to 10 minutes and just let it kind of just find the idle, and then I'll check it again. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna actually do is turn the key to the on position, which is like this. All right, it sounds okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start it. Don't see any issues right now. So we're gonna let the car, I'm gonna let the car kind of settle down and let the RPMs drop. And theoretically, the car should drop down to around 600 to 700 RPM and sit there. But yeah, I'm just gonna let it drop on down. Like you can see right now, it's already dropping down. Yeah, we'll see where it idles down to. But yeah, hopefully we're looking for it to drop down to 600 to 700 RPM. So I'm praying this is the issue. I'm hoping that this is what was causing the high idle. But yeah, I'm just gonna let it sit for a second and find where it's gonna idle at. All right, you guys, so after I let the car kind of idle for about 5 minutes or so, the car was still kind of idling pretty high. So what I did is I went ahead and actually cleared the codes inside of IMPA. It's not guaranteed to fix, but yeah, as you can see, it seems like it's still kind of sitting pretty high. I'm gonna check here in IMPA and see what it's saying. Yeah, it's still idling pretty high. As you can see, it's still sitting around the 930 range, which is not a good sign. Not a good sign right now. So I don't know, maybe there could be a vacuum leak somewhere. I'm not quite sure. Like I said, my mechanic already ran through and didn't find any vacuum leaks. So I'm still confused why it's still idling high. Yeah, guys, I think I might have found our issue, and this just started since I just replaced the ICV. This was not doing this beforehand. I don't know if y'all can hear, but I do hear a hissing noise, and it's coming from like this area. I'm not sure what it is. I tried pinching this and I'm not hearing the RPMs dropping. I wonder if it's down in there. I just can't see it. But I hope that picks up on camera that hissing noise is that's a pretty loud noise. I just cannot tell what is making that noise. And like I said, this was not doing this before I replaced the ICV. I had checked for the vacuum leaks myself personally, and I didn't even hear hissing noises either. So I'm almost scared that I replaced the wrong thing and that it wasn't the ICV, it was actually something else.